Alyssa, you are stunning. That dress is amazing. For those of you who may not know me, I am Kelly Cruz, now Hansen, and I have had the pleasure of being best friends with Alyssa for the past 23 years. Our two families met back in 1987 when a very pregnant Patty went looking for possible playmates for Alyssa and knocked on the door of 273 Hartford to find an equally pregnant Cindy Cruz. Needless to say, it was love at first sight, and our families have been absolutely inseparable ever since. Welcome to the family, to the Cruz family. Today, Alyssa and I are still the very best of friends, except instead of playing house, we are living our lives that we've always dreamed of. It is quite ironic, however, that Alyssa and I are the best of friends, because the truth is that we are actually totally opposites. As kids, when Alyssa was going to public school and dancing every day of the week, I was at a Catholic school and in gymnastics. And while Alyssa is incredibly organized and started writing her maid of honor speech immediately following my engagement, I just wrote mine this week. My bachelorette party was at the Jersey Shore with a lot of Guidos and Guidettes. Fist pumping was involved. And Alyssa's was an Ellicottville with her beloved Mother Nature. Our choice of husbands could not be any more different. Nick is 5 feet 6 inches, while Casey is 6 feet 5 inches, Italian versus Norwegian. But at the end of the day, no matter how high the shoes Alyssa has to put on to match my level, I cannot imagine not having her standing next to me. And Nick, as you know, Casey is always willing to lend you his shoulders to give you a lift. I'm sure we'll see that at the end of the night, too. Nick, I can completely understand why Alyssa is madly in love with you and know that she is so lucky to have found you, and vice versa, of course. I vividly remember when she called me that Oktoberfest in 2006, telling me about how the two of you had met and how she had had such a crush. And then when I first met Nick on Thanksgiving Eve of that year, I knew right away that he was a keeper. We were all standing around chatting in a group, and then the moment that Alyssa stepped away, Nick pulled me aside and said, "Kel, do you remember this? I think I'm in really big trouble here. I'm totally crazy about this girl, and I just don't know what to do." Lucky for Nick, the feeling was definitely mutual. So since then, Nick and I have had a lot of fun planning surprises for Alyssa. Everything from birthdays in New York to her actual engagement. Now, before I tell you the story of her engagement, you should know that two of Alyssa's favorite things are nature and photo shoots. So, for her engagement, naturally Nick wanted to propose surrounded by nature, and decided that he wanted to do this in one of our favorite childhood places, the Ducky Pond. We just needed to figure out how we were going to convince her to go there without making it completely obvious of what was about to happen. So we concocted a story of how I was going to be having a Cruz family photo shoot at the Ducky Pond as a Christmas present for my parents, and of course Alyssa quickly volunteered to come and be the photographer for that event. The funny part is that actually when we made these arrangements, she told Nick that he wasn't allowed to come, because it didn't actually involve him, so we would just meet up with him later. So then I told her we had to make up another story about how there was a lunch afterwards, and all of the boys were going to be there, so definitely you need to bring Nick, it would be a pain to drive back, and so on and so forth. So, once Nick finally got to the Ducky Pond, he asked Alyssa to go for a walk, which she declined because it was cold out and she wanted to wait for me to get there and all of that. So then he finally lured her out of the car by suggesting that they go and look for somewhere really fabulous for us to have this photo shoot. I think they only made it about 20 feet from the car because Nick was aimlessly walking in circles, thinking of what he was going to say and trying to figure out how things were going to go, until he finally got down on one knee and asked Alyssa to make him the happiest man in the world. And in the end, Alyssa did get her photo shoot that day with a sparkly little friend on her finger. What an amazing year it has been since the engagement. Alyssa and I have had so much fun planning our weddings together. Actually, it was a lot of Alyssa and my mom and her mom planning both of our weddings together. Lucky for me. But it has been such a fabulous thing to be able to experience it all with my very best friend. Thank you, Casey and Nick, for coordinating that. Sort of. Alyssa, you really said it best back in October. There is nothing more thrilling to think about than spending the rest of our lives playing out together. May those years be filled with more love, more laughs, and of course, many more happy memories. So, a toast. Raise your glass. May you be poor in misfortune, rich in blessings, slow to make enemies, and quick to make friends. And may you know nothing but happiness from this day forward. I love you. Love you. Woo! Caitlin,